Hi, this is Fred from the Italian melodic doom death metal band Tethra, and you're listening to The Bloodshed with the Vampire on Metal Messiah Radio International.
Fred, it's so great to have you here. But before we go over to talk about this band, we would like to know a little bit more about yourself. So I kindly ask you, Fred, for all fans to get to know you much better. Where was you born? Whom was your inspirations that have made you become a metal musician? Why the nickname Iceman?
Hi, everybody. I live in the north of Italy, near Milano. And my history as a musician, born actually when my father brought home Guns N' Roses album, Use Your Illusion 2, because there was the Knocking on Heaven's Door cover. Famous or infamous, I don't know what to say. And at that moment, something cracked my mind, and I really understood that I would like to play that song. That's where it all started. From there, I just got to know many bands. I just remember the moment when a friend of mine took the vinyl of his brother, the vinyl of Fear of the Dark of Iron Maiden. I clearly remember that moment because the cover of the album was something that really impressed me. That's where it started. About my nickname, actually, it's kind of stupid, but I began calling myself Iceman because of Ice Dirt, the American band. Mm-hmm. It was in 1996, I guess. I was in the US, and I bought an album of Ice Dirt. I liked the idea it was iced, not just the Iceman.
Very great band, Mr. John Schaefer.
Yeah. I love them.
Yeah, I see them live. I think last at Metal Days, yeah. And, well, I've seen them many times, but the last time was a couple of years, like 2 or 3 ago in Slovenia for Metal Days. Yes.
Metal Days. I saw them in 1998 for the first time with Therion.
That was the way back that they had.
Birth Offerings album.
Yeah, with this guy on vocals.
Matthew Barlow.
Matthew Barlow was first, then there came this young guy that was singing again for Judas Priest, Tim Owens.
Tim Owens was after him, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay, to proceed with this interview, you was a guitarist for this thrash death metal band Total Death out of Lombardy from 2012 to 2017. You even recorded an album with them in 2015, The Pound of Flesh, via Punished 18 record. How was your experience being part of this band? And do you still contact them?
I got in touch with Total Death just because at that moment in 2012, I was just studying, play by myself in my room. So I decided that it was the right moment to play with someone else. So I got their announce on the rehearsal room in Busto, where I usually go. And I just thought it was the right moment to play with someone else, and we shared ideas and stuff, and we rehearsed a lot. We wrote an album. I just wrote one song of that album just because Paolo Azzimonti had written many that we used on the album. But it was really a good experience. And in 2017, actually, I decided to step aside because I was at that moment very busy with my job and didn't really have time to follow the band as I wanted. Plus, the thing that thrash metal is not really my style. I like the idea of having some gigs and having fun and stuff, but thrash is not me. I prefer doom. So it was a mix of two things, and I decided to part ways. But we're still in touch. We don't call each other every week, but we meet sometimes at concerts and stuff. We're still friends.
Okay. Formed in 2008, Tethra is a melodic death doom quintet based in Novara, Italy, having 2 full lengths and an EP under their wings. Tethra has gradually honed their gothic death doom craft over the years, incorporating elements of progressive metal and plunging into a ravine of bleak melodies. Tethra have played live along with bands like Sepultura, Daylight, Saturnus, Forgotten Tomb, Sadist, The Foreshow Shutting, Jack Frost, Swallow the Song, Animator, Officium Triste, Office, and Avenir, to mention some. And the band had taken part of the Malta Doom Fest, and between 2016 and 19, the band shared a stage with Nigura, Bunchet, The Vision Bleak, Monolith, and Bistic, and played several shows in Europe supporting like Cross for the Earth. Fed, when and how did you join the band? Were you also, part of the recording lineup of Like Cross for the Earth? And don't you mind to present us the current band lineup?
I joined the band at the end of 2017. Actually, Like Cross for the Earth was already recorded, and they already played 2 or 3 gigs supporting the album with the old guitarist, which was Duca. Actually decided to part ways with the band because of working reason, because he had to move to Switzerland to work, so he decided to step aside. At that moment, Clode was looking for someone, and I was there, I was free, I was not busy when I left Total Death. And then he told me about this death doom metal, and it was the right thing for me. I'm really happy of the decision I took. Unfortunately, I couldn't participate in Like Close to the Earth, even if I think that it's their best album in terms of songwriting, because it's very variated, many ways of composing the songs and stuff. There are many emotions in the album. So I really like the album, and I decided to join them. Actually, we lost also Gabriele, which was the other guitarist playing in that album. But we decided, we had the opportunity to get Alberto Coerezza on guitar, Avenir, which is kind of famous because he's one of the founding members of the Italian band Doomsword, which is very, very, very famous. And he was one of the guys who participated in the songwriting of the first album, which I think it's a beautiful album. So playing with him is something I really like. About the others, I can say Salvatore is just a sublime bass guitarist, because he didn't propose any riffs for the latest album, but he really have the taste for making the best part with the bass guitar where it's needed. It's something I really love in his playing. Clode is the only founding member of Tethra. So what can I say about him? I just thank him. About Daniele, I can just say that he is kind of known also because he plays in many bands. He plays in Tracklist, which is an Italian heavy metal band, plus someone else. He played in Holy Martyr, which is something really classic heavy metal band, very Iron Maiden influence, but he's a very good drummer. I hope we can have this lineup for a long time.
Question that was actually supposed to be for Clode. However, I want to send all thanks for Clode to still assist you with answering these questions. How was the experience for the band Tethra to have opened some and have toured with all the bands that I just mentioned, Fed?
I talked with him during the years. He told me many anecdotes, many stupid stuff happened with the bands he played with. I played with Monolith and Abyss. I played with Evadne. I played with the Office. We never had the opportunity to make a real tour, so it was always single gigs. But the problem is that when you share the stage with bands like Sepultura or Swallow the Sun, actually you don't really have the time to spare time with them, because sometimes you just have the opportunity to say hi 2 minutes, and it's always a good experience, because sometimes you meet your idols, but I don't know if it's a good idea sometimes, because you might encounter someone which you loved for his music, which is not really funny as a person, but it never happened to me yet, so I cannot say something special about it. But I met the singer of Antimatter, which is a very lovely person. I met him at a gig in Paris and then another one in Milano, and he's always very, very available for talking and stuff. But it's always a good experience.
Fed, the band has released a single personal cover of the classic Candyman song Solitude out of their full-length album, the debut album, actually, because Dominicus Metallicus. Question is, what were the reason that the band has decided to do this cover song?
At that moment, I wasn't part of the band, but I know the story very well, because at that moment it was just before writing and recording the second album, Like Close for the Earth. Claude told me the story is very funny, because actually they were together and they decided they had nothing to share with the world. They just changed one guitarist and the drummer. So Claude said, why don't we record something, just to put out something new? And it was a kind of enjoyment, because he said, okay, let's take a very famous song, which is a very doom song, and let's do it our way. So he came up with Solitude, a great album and a great song, and they did it the Tethra way. Just because at that moment they decided it was the right time to do something.
One thing that I checked it out, but I don't see that, even though It's a cover song, but it was never placed on any record as a bonus track.
No, it never came up on any album. We talked about it when it was the time to record the Fire of the Void, but as we will say later, we decided to do another cover. So this one just stayed there.
Okay, to go over the band's catalog, the band released a CP at the Gates of Doom on November 2nd, 2010. This was via Occultum. First full-length album called Drawn into the Sea of Life, released on September 1st, 2013 via House of Ashes production. The concept of this album is tied to the element of water and expand to the main theme of the EP, the passage between life and death. Second full-length title, Like Cross for the Earth, released on February 11, 2017 via Sliptrick Record. And I'd like to say hello to my friend from Sliptrick Record, Danilo Piludo. With this album, the band become more intimate, focusing on topics such as loss, solitude, and feelings of rejection. The album also deals with social issues such as mankind indiscriminate exploitation of Earth, metaphorically representing by Craw. If not stopped, this animal poses an undeniable threat to its ecosystem and is bound to destroy all other species. A question especially, Fed, that I want to ask you, even though you was not part of the lineup, but talking to Clode, what has each and every album meant in the development of the band? I mean, each in their specific time and moment, or however you want to say it, Fed.
What I can say is that in participating just in the last album, I know the band since a while, and I really talked a lot with Clode. I think that the first EP, The Gates of Doom, was just the moment 4 people got together and decided to spread their music. So there was an urge of composing songs, and they were young because it was 10 years ago right now. It was a moment in which there was an urge to play. It's always the first way of publishing something. It was rough, it was raw, and I liked it. It was still a little bit unripe. The first full length, Drawn into the Sea of Life, was actually much better because it was really Clode, the songwriting between Clode and the guitarist, which is Belfagor, which is one of the founder. Actually, it was a really close songwriting. They stood together and they tried to do something which was in the middle between Black Sabbath, Candlemas, but with a special taste, the Italian taste if you want. And I guess that the songwriting there was really good. But in my opinion, because this is my opinion only, is that it suffered that there was only one guitar. I think having 2 guitars in a band is really important. That's why probably they decided after the departure of Belfagor, they decided to switch to 2 guitars. And actually, Like Cross for the Earth is much, much better album in terms of songwriting, mixing, playing, everything, because there were many, many ideas that came up from many people, not just 1 or 2. And I think it's a strange album because it mixes many different things, like some progressive ideas, something really more heavy, but it risks to be less doom than it was at the beginning. I think that Like Cross for the Earth is a very doom album in terms of emotions, less in terms of songwriting. That's what I think. I always said to Clode. And I guess the latest album has changed a lot again because unfortunately we lost Duca as a member and also Gabriele. So I came in and every member gives his idea. That's the good thing of playing in a band. Many people together that bring ideas for the albums.
Talking about this third full-length album, Tethra has released their new album, Empire of the Void, on March 20th, 2020 then, of this Swedish Black Lion record. On last December, the band shared with all the fans a moment, that was hand out the delivery this painting created as a cover artwork of Empire of the Void, thanks to Carmen Corvo Faustino for this authentic piece of art. What can you explain about the album cover artwork? And was this, the band first work done with this artist?
Yes, I think that the artwork of an album is the first business card of it. The idea is that it must reflect the atmosphere and lyrics enclosed. We had the idea of beating heart, so we decided that it was a good idea that a heart beating was also in the cover painting. So we decided for this new album, we relied on this extraordinary painter, which is called Corvo. And just because we appreciated his work with our friends Cosmogenesis, another Italian doom band, we contacted him and we just explained which were the ideas of the album, the ideas of the cover concept we had. And we just give him free will. I mean, absolutely. We told him, just do what you feel. And then we'll decide together if it's good or not. And he came up with this extraordinary painting, which I have in my house, actually. I can show it to you if you want. And
sure.
But his style, I think it embraces the metaphysics stuff. It was absolutely perfect for the spatial themes cover of the new album. So it was very, very good choice.
Okay. Fed, as I just said, the album was released last March 20th. Yes, under the name Empire of the Void, with 10 tracks on this album. Don't you mind to present us the album tracking list, please?
Yes. Cosmogenesis is just an intro. It's just a melodic intro that begins with this heart beating, which is the idea of the whole album. So it was just a melodic guitar stuff, if you want. I wanted to introduce the rest of the album. Then we put Cold Blue Nebula, which is our first single, and I think it represents very good the idea and the style of the record, because it has everything in it, which is very doom, very heavy. There is even a death metal part, very melodic also. It's the perfect summary for this record. Then we have the Gravity Suite. Actually, this is the only songs I wrote before joining Tethra. I mean, the ideas came up before joining Tethra. And actually, I came up with this idea for this, because I wanted something that was like a cathedral, something really, really heavy, but also really beautiful. And then we decided to 3 parts. And the idea behind the song is the lack of air, which is something, it's something like the last voyage, the last trip of a spaceman. Then we decided to put this acoustic song, which is Empire of the Void, which is the title track, in the middle of the album, because we wanted to split the album in 2, like side A, side B, like the vinyl. And it was just an acoustic idea. At the beginning, it was to have lyrics also, but then we decided that the music itself was already telling something, even without lyrics. So we decided to keep it like that, instrumental. Then we covered the David Bowie song. I can tell you something if you want about it.
Sure.
Because it's, actually, I wanted to do a cover song because I like to hear songs covered by metal bands. And when Clode told me to do this one, I told myself he's completely crazy, because this song is one of the most known songs in the entire story of the music.
Federico, let me tell you one thing. Sometimes it's better when you do a cover song to do the unknowns.
Yeah, exactly. Really, I was really scared because I didn't know what to say. It was, okay, this song is very tricky, so let's do something good, because it would be a trap. And actually, I think I came up with something which is good. So I'm happy of the results. And then the second part of the album, which is I Like Your Breath with Gogomelone, and which is a very eerie song, very melodic. Then we have the fastest and the heaviest one, which is Dying Signal. And I think this song came up, the idea came up because there was some death metal at that moment. So I just decided to do something very heavy. And then the last one, High Zone, actually is the first one we wrote together. And I just came up with the first idea, and then we composed it all together. It's a very melodic thing, and I guess, I hope that it can be a song like Say Just Words of Paradise Lost, if you know it. Something that can be really singable. You can sing at the concerts or stuff like that.
Fed, I want to thank you very much for describing also the album tracking list. And also, yes, I'd like to thank you very much for sending me the MP3 album file. To continue with this interview, Empire of the Void was recorded and mixed between August and November 2019 by Matt Stanshushu at the Eleanor Studio in Magnago, Italy. Master duties fell to Greg Chandler at Priory Recording Studio in Birmingham, England. I must add, yes, that the third effort has been done the same way as the first and the second full-length album. How was the songwriting, yes, and the making of this music gone, Fat, and how was it returned to Eleanor Studio and to Priory Recording Studio again?
About the writing and the making of the music, I told you something just before, but I wrote almost every song of the album, except for the cover, obviously. The only song which has some ideas came from the past guitarist, which is Gabriele, and Clode is A Light Year Breath.
Okay. In other words, but how long did it take you, to write the music?
We spent almost 1 year rehearsing all the songs. Because, unfortunately, music for none of us is a job. We all have jobs to do. We used many evenings rehearsing and other evenings at my place, me and Claude and someone else, to decide this part is good, this part to be taken. So I wrote almost all the songs, but it's anyway a job done all together. Arranging the music is something that really create the band itself, because you need to be very close to each other.
Yeah.
About the recording session, I can say that Mattia Stancioio actually was the drummer of Labyrinth.
Okay, yeah.
And he opened his studio in Magnago a few years ago. It's just the first time I go to this studio, but it's small, but it's very good.
He's no longer with Labyrinth?
No, I quit them many years ago.
All right.
And he just do that for a living. I can say he's an exquisite person because he have many ideas, and as Claude says always, he's the sixth one in Tethra. Because when we got into the studio, actually we had very clear idea on what we wanted and stuff, but all the time we arrived at a certain points that Mattia always had to say, oh, this is not good, you better if you do that, or it's better if you do that. He had many ideas and helped us a lot doing completing the album.
So in the long run, it was for the better.
Yeah. Claude told me that even like Cross for the Earth has been recorded at Eleanor Studio, and Mattia always gave many ideas of sound or even some mistakes, because we were not perfect. So we arrived at the studio with a note which was not at the right moment. So he's a very good person. It's very important to Tethra. I guess the next album will be recorded at this Eleanor Studio again.
How about the duties done with Greg?
About Greg, actually, right now we live in 2020 and didn't have the opportunity to get to Priory Studio in person. We just sent him job, the recording, and then he made the mastering part, and he did a great job. And he worked with Tethra since the first album, Drawn into the Sea of Life. And actually, at that time, he was really happy to work with Tethra. So Claude kept in touch with him, and we just wanted to continue with his work with him, because we think that he's very good, and he's very available always for our his time is always available for us. Very good person also.
Okay, besides the video that the band has released for the track number 2, Cold Blue Nebula, on February 21st, the hypnotic video for A Light Year Breath, a song extracted from the new album Empire of the Void, which sees the talented Go-Go Meloni of Ionian Sorrow as a special guest. What can you tell us about this collaboration with this beautiful and talented Go-Go Meloni, and where did this great idea came from to have her on board?
Actually, when we were rehearsing that song, we felt that there was something missing. We decided that we needed a female vocalist for that refrain, because it would have given very much space to the refrain itself. So Claude was in touch with Gogo Melone on Facebook, and then we had the opportunity to meet her in Milano when Ionian Sorrow opened a gig for Swallow the Sun.
Mm-hmm.
And we had the opportunity to talk with her for a while, and we decided to propose her this collaboration, and she was okay with it. So when the song was kind of ready, we sent to her. She was very, very happy to work with us. In a few days, she gave us back her tracks, and she even tried to put something of herself because she did something more compared for what we asked. We just asked her to sing over the refrain, and she added some more stuff, and it's really good because the song with her voice, which is perfect for us and perfect for the emotions of the song, I think right now is very, very good. So we thank a lot Gogo, and we hope to share the stage with her again.
I can't wait to meet her. With her, I have an interview scheduled with her for Union Sorrow this coming month, May. So I can't wait to meet with her.
I understand. She's very pretty also.
Okay, Fed, continue with this great interview. The band, 3 first releases was all done via the Italian records to mention some Occultum, House of Ashes production, Sliptrick Records, and now the bands have a new deal with the Swedish Black Lion Records. How did you get in touch with my good friend Oliver? I've been working with him for quite some time to get to work with this prestigious label.
Actually, it's nothing special, I can say, because we at the end of the recording session we selected a few songs and we began sending various emails to record labels. Oliver was the one who answered the first, and also we had the opportunity to get some infos about Black Lion Records and Oliver, because there is another band which is called Black Therapy. They're Italian and they have a contract with Black Lion Records. So we talked with them and they told us that Oliver was a very good person and he used to do what he said. So that was an important thing for us. So after a few weeks of discussion, which were very, very easy actually, but we decided to sign with them. I think they made a very good job with other bands, so we expect the same for us, and that's what it is. We hope it's a good choice, even if this period for releasing an album is not the best one, as you can imagine, but Oliver is doing his part of the job very good.
Yes, he's a great guy and great record label. I really admire the work that Black Lion Record has been doing for the last years, yes.
Yeah, he released many interesting bands, so I agree.
Empire of the Void, this third album by Tethra. The concept around this new work focus on the duality between what is hidden inside the depth of a human soul and vastness, sidereal space, and especially for those who adore November Doom, Paradise Lost, Amorphous, Saturnus, My Dying Bride, wow, and so on. Great band. I mean, the band's album release party, Fed, was planned to be on March 21st, then moved to April 25th with Rome in monochrome at One Metal Live, Cassano d'Adda, Italy. Yes, looking what the trouble the whole world are in now with this COVID-19, I don't think this party will take place. And if not, will this be rescheduled? I'm talking about the album release party.
When the COVID-19 came out, we all understood that our release party was kind of cancelled. So we decided to move it to the 25th of April. But I guess that even that date will be changed. So we're trying to understand before rescheduling it. We would like to really understand what's going on in Europe, because as you can see, all the great and big festivals have been delayed or cancelled. So can you imagine a gig like ours? Something much less important than the Wacken Open Air Festival. So if they're forced to cancel the show, we're forced to do the same. I don't really know. We would like to reschedule it, but we still don't know when. It's a pity, but we don't have we don't have any other choices right now.
I think there's going to be, if you really want to reschedule, you have to think about something like October, November.
I guess yes, but the point is that we were trying, we had some other gigs scheduled, but we are trying to reschedule them in October and November. So
talking about all that's going around, with rescheduling of shows and things, what other shows are already scheduled in support of this great new album, Fed?
As I said before, this emergency for COVID is something that we cannot really plan. And it's very difficult to reschedule anything. We had 3 gigs already booked before the summer, but we are trying to reschedule them in October and November. At that moment, if it will be possible to actually play live, we would like to try also to put in the middle to put our release party. We can, but we are still in the hands of God. And we have to wait what our government and the European governments decide to do with concerts and live performances. It's a pity.
So there's no shows already booked in October or November that you want?
There are 3 shows which are already booked, but we still have to understand if it will be possible to play actually in October, because I just read that they're planning to postpone everything after March, so no gigs until March 2021 of anything.
Oh.
So that's what I heard in the news, but it's not really decided yet. But they are talking about this. So we have 3 gigs booked in October, but we're not sure we can play.
But those 3 gigs, you don't want to mention them?
Okay. So we have, for now, 3 gigs booked, which are one at Saturday, September 19th in Rovelasca with the Italian band Crimson Dawn. Then we have Saturday, October 3rd at Centrale Pub di Erba with Cultus Sanguine. And the last one booked is in Cagliari, in Sardinia, Saturday, 17th October. And it's a mini festival, I guess, with 3 other bands. It's called Doom over Karalis.
Okay, very great, Fed. I want to thank you very much for having made this interview possible. I want to hand you over the microphone of Madame Messiah Radio for you to invite all your friends to support the band, to buy the band earlier albums, and to buy this great new masterpiece, Empire of the Void, and also to check out the band's merchandises. Talking about merchandises, before we end this great interview, Fed, for all those fans that are waiting to get their hands on this new release, is there any merch available with a new cover artwork on?
For now, we decided to do just a t-shirt, which has been designed by Gogo Melone also. It doesn't have the cover on it, because we decided with Oliver that to do something different. So you can buy on website, you can buy the bundle with the CD plus the t-shirt, but it doesn't have the cover artwork on it. We will probably plan to do it in the future if there is the possibility, but we decided not to do it because we just felt that, and also because we asked again to Gogo Melone to participate, because he also do this kind of job. It was a good idea also.
Tell me, Fed, for the fans to know, but there is merch with anything, t-shirt, patches, or guitar picks, anything with the band logo or with the older album artwork on?
I guess not. There are some stickers. We have a Crow's School. We have some other stuff, but actually, if you ask for a t-shirt with the cover album, actually, I'm not sure.
Okay. Yes, okay, Fed, the microphone of Madame Messiah Radio, once again, is all yours to thank whomever he wants to thank. And yes.
Okay. I just would like to say that we are in a very difficult, very sad period of our lives. I guess that heavy metal music in general is something really important for me and really important for many people. I think that this moment in which many bands have to see their tours, their shows canceled, I guess that the fans, the only thing they have to do is to buy records from these bands just to support them. Even supporting a our band Tethra would be great. But I think that heavy metal gave me so much as a person, and I think that I have to give something back with my music and supporting the scene, buying records of our other bands. Then I would like to thank Jacopo for this interview, which is I'm very pleased to be interviewed from the United States in Italy, and I would like to come back to the US as soon as possible with Tethra and our music. It would be great.
Okay, you're very welcome. Metal Messiah Radio is your home.
Thank you. Thank you.
Federico, before I say goodbye, I want you kindly to say hello to Clode for me, to Alberto, to Salvatore, and to Daniele.
I sure do. I guess they say back hi to you, and thank you again for your time and for this interview, and goodbye to all the Metal Messiah Radio fans.
Once again, Federico, I want to say all the best, my good wishes for the band and this great new masterpiece, Empire of the Void. Okay, we're gonna keep in touch, and we're gonna keep on promoting this great new album and the previous album as well. So I highly recommend the fans out there to put their hand on all these albums, starting from the EP At the Gates of Doom, the first full album, Drawn into the Sea of Life, and not even to mention the second full album. What a great album. I have listened to a couple songs of this album, which I really like Cross for the Earth. A very great album. And not to mention this masterpiece, the last one, Empire of the Void. All great albums that you must put your hands on. You must have them in your collection as well. Okay, so all the best with the new album and the band. Fed, thank you very much for accepting this interview. And like I always say, metal on. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.